The sun was setting slow over the edge of the dusty town of Redstone, painting the horizon with the kind of gold that could break your heart if you stared too long. The saloon doors creaked behind her, laughter spilling out into the fading day, but she didn't turn. She sat there on the old bench outside, her hat shadowing half her face, her fingers tracing the rim of a tin cup that had long gone cold. Her eyes, though, told a story deeper than silence, the kind of story that only heartbreak could write. A wind came rolling across the empty street, lifting dust and whispers together, when a rider appeared from the far end, his horse tired, his coat stained by miles of road and regrets. He slowed his horse when he saw her, a woman sitting alone outside a saloon in the middle of nowhere. "Evening," he said softly, dismounting. "Waiting for someone, or leaving one?" The words hung in the air between them like smoke. She didn't look up right away. Her voice, when it came, was quiet and raw. "Ain't sure anymore." The cowboy studied her face, the way she tried to hide pain behind calm, the way her hands trembled only when she thought no one was watching. He'd seen that look before in the mirror, on nights when loneliness pressed too close. He tied his horse to the post and sat down beside her, leaving a respectful distance but enough to show he wasn't just passing through. "You from around here?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. "I was, once. But the town ain't the same without him." The cowboy didn't need to ask who. Every word she said carried the weight of someone buried too deep in memory to be forgotten. The sky turned darker, and the lamps inside the saloon flickered like dying hope. A fiddle played faintly, laughter carried through the open windows, but both of them sat in silence, caught between past and present. "After a while," he said, "sometimes folks leave, but they don't take their ghosts with them." She looked at him then, really looked, and for the first time that evening, she saw something familiar in his eyes. Maybe it was sorrow, or maybe it was understanding. "You talk like a man who's lost something too," she whispered. He smiled faintly, looking down at his hands. "Yeah. Lost her to a dream I chased too far." She didn't ask for details, and he didn't offer. Out here, people understood that some stories were too sacred for daylight. The wind picked up again, stirring the edge of her shawl, and the night began to hum with that old western loneliness, the kind that made even strangers feel like old souls crossing paths for a reason. When she finally stood, brushing the dust off her skirt, she turned to him and said, "Maybe I was waitin' for someone after all." He rose too, tipping his hat. "Then I reckon you found him." They didn't say anything more, just started walking down the street together, their boots echoing softly against the wood. Behind them, the saloon kept laughing, but ahead. The road stretched out under the silver of a rising moon, wide and endless. It wasn't love yet, but it was something, a beginning carved out of sorrow. Sometimes, the West didn't give you what you wanted. But every now and then, it gave you exactly what your heart had stopped hoping for.